An abundance of trade opportunities for this week on the major dollar pairs. Good morning, guys. My name is Fabio, and thank you for tuning in to another daily market outlook where we discuss all the major dollar pairs and, of course, gold. Now, last week was absolutely amazing. This week we've closed off very, very strong because NZD USD and AUD USD are pushing up higher in line with our expectations. And as you guys know, I've been in AUD USD longs all week last week. So let's dive into today's market outlook and see where the markets are most likely going to be heading next, and if we can identify any potential trade opportunities. Now, we're going to start off with Euro USD first of all, because Euro dollar is still inside an area of daily demand. And a lot of questions that I'm still getting is, Fabio, are we ready to now finally sell Euro USD in towards the downside? Now, what we can see here on the daily time frame is that last week we saw on Friday a bullish candle close, which was inside this daily area of demand. Now, the overall fractal structure here on Euro USD is still bullish, with this being your fractal low and this being your fractal high. So the overall market structure is a push up, push down, push up, push down, and it should still push up higher if this and as long as this low here is respected. So I'm not looking for any shorts until this low over here is broken. Once that fractal low is broken, then I'll be interested in trading a potential pullback. Yes, you could already get into a short position as we have tapped into into weekly supply, obviously, and we have that overextended weekly move. If we look here to the left on the weekly time frame, we can very clearly see buy up for a strong sell down. We pretty much grab liquidity above it, and we're now potentially going to see some further downside again, but this is just all assuming, guys. This is all your thoughts, your mind. Oh, the market is looking good to pull back, but you need to really use common sense in trading and keep it very simple and mechanical, and that is to understand that you need rules in order to enter trades. And for me, the rule is, okay, daily fractal low needs to break before getting into a short, and then there'll be more than enough room to look for some further downside. Obviously, after seeing that overextended move in towards the highs, all the way from this low in towards this high, yes, a pullback would be ideal. Looking for a pullback, you would at least want to see a 0.5 fib retracement when using the premium versus discount, and then you can obviously identify that that is a key level of pretty much just support and resistance. So looking for a further downside push, but only until or only once that daily fractal low goes. Otherwise, until then, I'm pretty much just staying out of the market. At the moment, we are inside 4-hour demand. So last week we saw from this daily area of demand a 4-hour fractal structure shift by breaking this high over here. What that now means is that this is now your 4-hour fractal low, this is now your 4-hour fractal high, this is now the 4-hour demand zone that is in control. We have some internal liquidity here on the 1-hour time frame. If you go here, you can very clearly see that this, for example, is 1-hour demand, but that there's no liquidity in the overall push up. Therefore, it makes a lot of sense to liquidate this low over here. So let's see that low get liquidated. If you're looking for longs, then wait for the 1-hour change of character, only then go long. So liquidation of that low, tap into this demand zone, and then maybe you could look for a long position. That personally holds my preference. If you are looking for longs, just remember that you need bullish confirmation in the form of a market structure shift. Otherwise, the market could just keep on dropping down lower. And then finally, we'll get into the opportunity for some shorts. But overall, you can see here on the 1-hour time frame, we're just consolidating. Market is waiting for a big boom. Now, going into the dollar index, the dollar index itself is also consolidating, not really moving that much. It kind of aligns with what I said last week, where if you look here at the 4-hour time frame, it's pretty much just a support and resistance play. The market is consolidating and waiting, guys, because this week is a massive week for the dollar. And the main reason for that is that if we go here onto Forex Factory and we look at the economic calendar, you can see that today we have retail sales and core retail sales at 1:30 Central Eastern Time, so in around 4.5 hours. And then, guys, on Wednesday we have the federal funds rate. So we're going to get those interest rate decisions from the Fed in the United States and an FOMC press conference. So it is not expected that they're going to lower rates, but if they do lower the interest rates, that would mean that the dollar would become weaker. If they raise the interest rates, which they're very unlikely going to do, I'm pretty much 99.999% sure that they're not going to do that. That would mean that the dollar would become stronger, because then the dollar becomes interesting for foreign investors, foreign banks to buy, okay, or to invest in, put their money in, because high interest rates equal higher returns. But yeah, that's overall for the dollar this week. So a massive week. Keep that in mind. Today we have some red folder news, and then on Wednesday the biggest news of them all. If those interest rates indeed get dropped, which is what Trump wants, then we will see the dollar push down lower. Overall, from a weekly perspective, it still makes sense for the weekly time frame to push down lower. Overall, we are still bearish, and I'm still looking for further shorts in towards this weekly demand zone, and then eventually even maybe taking out those equal lows. But yeah, I mean, looking at the 4-hour time frame for now, we need to wait for that next breakout and the next direction. Obviously, the market is charging after the overextended move that we had here. It's now just accumulating again before providing us with just that downside continuation again, or maybe a pullback and then another sell-off. So I'm ultimately just looking for further sells still on the dollar, and looking for one of these two options where we either liquidate the highs or we just start dropping now straight away. So yeah, that's what I'm currently looking for on the dollar. Still expecting that for the downside in line with my higher time frame analysis, which I've repeated many times here, where we have the consolidation prior to Trump's presidency, we have the fake out when he comes president, and then we have the downtrend when he is president. And I'm looking for the exact same thing again here, where we have consolidation, we have the fake out in towards the highs, and then we have the downtrend. So looking for 100 to get met on the dollar index very soon. Now, Aussie dollar, guys. Aussie dollar, you guys know what the drill is. I am not going to lie. I am extremely happy with this position because you guys know I took it live on stream last week. So congratulations if you're in with me. Let me know in the comment section down below. Overall, the weekly time frame is playing out to perfection. I know the chart looks a little bit messy, but it is very simple, guys. Overall, this sell for the buy up, that is your demand zone. We tapped into that demand zone last week or 2 weeks even ago. I said you can just buy it from here with your stop loss underneath the lows, guys. It has been for me so clear. So Aussie dollar pushing up higher here on the weekly time frame. Looking at the daily, again, this for me is just a fake area of supply, because the weekly time frame for me is a lot more clear that it wants to push up higher. Also looking at the higher time frame being the monthly, we are at a key level of monthly support. We liquidated here the monthly low and the weekly low, and we're now just looking for that V-shape reversal in towards the highs, at least back up in towards this monthly imbalance over here, which is kind of like my next target for AUD/USD on the short term. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for on AUD/USD. Going into the lower time frame for now, the 4-hour is starting to push, and my immediate target is just going to be this internal high over here. I mean, very clear. We get the push up, we get the descending correction, we get the push up, retest, and then boom, we're now just looking for the continuation in towards the highs. Now, I'm still in a position on NZD USD on a few accounts. As you can see over here, this is the start date. So I've been trading on this funded account since the 21st of October. I can refresh the page and you guys can see it. Current equity is 2.4k in profit, and the balance is 100,000. So that's the AUD/USD trade. Yeah, performing very well here on this account. And I also have it running on another trading pit account as well, yeah, which is performing very well. So let's see if we can get another push up higher in towards this overall swing high this week. That for me is the immediate target for AUD/USD. Yeah, I mean, nothing really else to say. Overall, the daily fractal is bullish. So if we look at the daily fractal structure, you can see here liquidation of the low, then this here is your daily fractal high, this here's your daily fractal low, 0.5 fib retracement, and then I went on to the lower time frame just to get that entry, and now we're starting to push up higher, and we should break the fractal high once again. Looking at the 4-hour time frame as well, yeah, it just makes so much sense to set up, and I'm extremely happy that a lot of you were able to take it with me. So if you did, let me know in the comment section down below. But overall, a very simple setup with the dollar obviously being weak, and this just being at a multi-level support on the monthly and the weekly time frame. Going into GBPUSD is very slow, very similar to EU at the moment. It's currently still inside a weekly area of supply, as you guys know. But yeah, looking here at the weekly time frame, I guess it makes sense to drop, but then you need to look at the daily time frame, and then if you look at the daily, you can see that there's nothing really indicating that the market is ready to drop yet. It's just consolidating. So what I would preferably need is like another sweep of the highs again. This then becomes your fractal low, and then, for example, push down, breaks market structure, retests, and then this, for example, becomes supply the buy before the sell, and then I could get into a short position in towards the downside, for example, back down in towards this overall sell before the buy here. But for now, I mean, the daily fractal is bullish, the weekly is still bullish. So a lot of people are trying to short GU, but understand, guys, that there is no sign that the market is yet going to slow down. And it's kind of like in your psychology to think that the market is going to sell off because it's so like a massive move up and now it's kind of like ascending corrective. So yes, it makes sense. But then again, kind of like it's just at a support level now over here. The overall order flow is still bullish. Like there's nothing bearish about it yet, and I've seen many times before that the market can just continue to push, right? So you saw it as well here the last time, where you have an overextended push, kind of like an ascending correction with maybe like one little fake out over here on the lows, but now again overextended push, kind of like ascending correction, could maybe make one more drop and then just continue up higher again. So don't get caught up in the belief that something is going to happen just because there's a supply zone. Always wait for that market structure to align with the overall bias that you have, okay? So that's GU. I mean, for now, EU looks a lot more interesting for longs. If you are interested in longs, because here on the 1 hour time frame, you can as well see that we're just consolidating on GBPUSD. NZD USD, guys. Oof, NZD USD. What can I say? Very, very, very proud of this position. You guys know it. If you follow these daily market updates, like most of you do who watched it, you know that we were anticipating that the daily or the weekly high would get taken out, and we have, guys. This for me is such an amazing feeling. Again, so proud of all of you who stuck by me on this position. Again, overall demand over here. I've been calling it literally from the lows that you could buy over here and just shoot a very, very simple 1-to-1, or what is it, like a 1-to-2 even over here. Risk to reward on the weekly time frame. Looking at the daily, obviously it wasn't as clean as AUD/USD in my opinion, due to the fact that the daily fractal structure was bearish from this high in towards this low. But this was just a perfect example of, yes, you have a supply zone over here, but you need to understand that, look, fractal structure happens everywhere. It's all about where it happens. If you look here on the monthly and the weekly time frame, you can see we're at a multi-weekly level of support. This is 0.55, a key level for NZD/USD. In the future, it hasn't been here many times, guys. So when you get into these key levels, understand it's not crypto, guys. The banks will start buying NZD because they don't want it to go any lower, because it will really hurt a country if the currency becomes any weaker. So looking here at the daily now, you can just see that it forms support, and then you need to understand that sometimes this area of supply just doesn't mean anything, and this was a perfect example of just following your intuition and following the weekly time frame. So I mean, for now, just still looking for further upside. The overall market structure is starting to shift now on NZD/USD, with this now becoming our new fractal low and this becoming our new demand zone. So let's see how high it pushes, and then let's see if we can kind of like close above these weekly highs and form like a new sell before a buy, which will then act as an area of demand. Okay, for the rest, I mean, it's made its move. If you missed out, you missed out. Overall, this is now pretty much just the overall area of consolidation, which should act as demand in the future. And if we do retrace into that, I'll just be looking for further upside once again. Going into gold, last of all, gold has been consolidating and pushing very, very slowly on the 4 hour time from here, or after that overextended move up higher. Yeah, I mean, what can we say for gold? It's obviously trading at the 3,000 level, which is kind of like a key level of resistance for now, as we can see. I mean, look, when the market is bullish, do you want to be betting on that there's going to be a potential correction? Personally, I do not. So what I'm just going to be doing is I'm going to be waiting for that correction to happen, because maybe it would just be a sweep of this low over here, like the liquidity low, and then we see the 1 hour change of character, and then I'll get into a long position, for example, again on gold. But let it manipulate first, and don't get into the manipulation. You don't want to be buying at this support level, in my opinion, because it could just spike a little bit lower and then, for example, reverse. Or what you would want to do is maybe get in on the 1 hour order flow. So if we break that high again, then you could get in again into the all-time high. But I mean, the ideal setup is to wait for it to manipulate, and then wait for the change of character, and then get in on a gold long again. Gold is bullish, and yeah, there's not much that you can do about it. So don't try and short the market and be smart. Just trade with the overall trend. Trend is bullish, and just wait for it to manipulate. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day. We'll catch up inside Discord, link in the description of this video, and I'll see you there.